Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Janelle and I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And in today's video, I figured I would sit down and just share with you guys some of my must-have makeup brushes. I realized that of all the years that I've been doing makeup on here, I've never shared with you guys like my must-have brushes that I have been using for years and that I love. So I figured in this video I would share with you guys all of my favorite brushes, and then in the future I want to do more specific type of videos like best brushes for beginners, best brushes for makeup artists. But I figured I would start off by sharing all of my brushes, and then if you guys are interested in seeing like a continued series of this, definitely let me know and I can do that for you. But yeah, if you guys want to see some of my must-have makeup brushes, then definitely please keep watching. I have my coffee ready because look at this. This is literally like a gallon of coffee. I was so low energy today for some reason. So I try to narrow this down to like my go-tos. Like if I'm traveling somewhere, these are the ones that I'll take with me. For foundation, my two must-have foundation brushes are my Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH03 brush and my It Cosmetics All Over Conceal and Foundation brush. So these are them here. So these won my brushes in the foundation category. I'll start by talking about the Morphe one first. This Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush is amazing for foundation. It's super soft, and both of these are synthetic hairs. They're not going to absorb as much of the liquid foundation, which is why I really like it. So it gives you good coverage. It doesn't absorb it. But what I love about both of these brushes is that both of them have a little bit of like give to them. So it still makes it really easy to buff out. With the Morphe Jaclyn Hill one, this one I feel like I can like dot foundation on my face and like buff it out in seconds with this brush because it's such a big brush. It gives such a smooth airbrush finish. You'll see me bring up a lot of the Morphe Jaclyn Hill brushes because she clearly knew what she was doing when she was creating these brushes. And then the It Cosmetics one I like for a very similar reason because it's synthetic, it's fluffy, it's super soft. And like I said, these just like buff out the foundation, I feel like, better than any of my other foundation brushes. Like these really stand out to me. I also really like this one because it has this on the other side. And I like this for like either like getting in here with concealers, getting in hard to get areas. I also really like this side for cream nose contouring. It's like the perfect size. Really enjoy both of these brushes for foundation. I can't suggest them enough. These are going to give you a full medium coverage. It's not going to pack on too much, but it's going to give you enough coverage and give an airbrush finish. All right, so let's get into my powder brushes that I love. So for powder, I've talked about this brush before. I'm going to talk about it again. I really have been enjoying the Morphe E41 brush. If I didn't have a big head, this is like the size of someone's actual head. But what I love about this brush is that it's synthetic. So I feel like it really buffs on the powder really nice and smooth. But it's also tapered and it's really fluffy but dense at the same time. So when you're buffing out powder, it'll like lightly set your skin without packing on too much. But it packs on the perfect amount because it's like the perfect amount of density. I don't know if that makes sense. Another powder brush that I really enjoy is my Real Techniques brush. Now I love this brush again for like buffing powder on the skin. It's fluffy but enough density to where it'll lightly set without making my skin too matte or too heavy. I also love this brush for blush and highlight. And I know looking at this you would think, whoa, that is like way too big for blush and highlight. But it comes to like the perfect taper to where if you just lightly dip in the tip, you can really just get a really soft blush on the cheek. It's so like, the hairs are just so like delicate, so it just really diffuses it on the skin beautifully. This is such a good brush and it is so affordable. Those are my favorite for just like an all over dust of powder if I don't want it too matte. But if I really want to pack on the powder and I want to make sure my makeup is bulletproof, these are the two brushes I gravitate toward. So I'll talk about my MAC one first. So this is the MAC 109 S brush. It's dense, but again with a little bit of give to it. So I love this for like buffing powder upward into the skin and it just locks it in there. It literally gives the most airbrush finish. It's like the perfect amount of density, the perfect size too. It just applies powder beautifully. This brush is also great if you are using a foundation powder and you're not going to be using a liquid base underneath. this, since it's so dense, you'll get more coverage with the foundation powder versus if you were to go in with like a bigger brush like this, that's going to disperse the powder out more. I also really love the Sonia kahsuk brush for powder. I've had this one since my junior year of high school, which was like back in 2012. So I've had it for such a long time. Such a good brush. Again, it's the perfect amount of density. The hairs aren't too long, so it'll really push the powder into the skin. And I like the dome shape to it because, again, it makes it super easy to buff the powder in the skin. I don't even know if they still make this brush, but I really like it. And the Sonia kahsuk brushes are so good quality. Honestly, all of my brushes I've had for a really long time, especially my MAC brushes, because I just take really good care of them and the quality is so good that literally, like, it's been close, it's almost coming up to like 10 years that I've had some of them and they're still all in great condition. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking for brushes. Just pay attention to the quality of them, because if you invest in the right kinds of brushes, they'll last you a lifetime and it's not going to be something that you'll have to keep repurchasing. So now for bronzer, I'll talk about my favorite bronzing brushes. So one of my main favorite ones that I love for just an all over bronze, it makes it so easy to just quickly do it without taking forever trying to like buff it in and make sure it goes on even. And that is my Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH02 brush. Look at the density on this guy. So let me show you guys. So I have this one from Morphe. This is the Morphe M527. They look really similar, but look at the difference in like thickness. I don't know if you can see on camera, but this one is just so much thicker and denser. I love how to apply as bronzer. I do like this one too, but this one I feel like doesn't let the bronzer go on as smooth. This one literally just like puts on the perfect amount, diffuses it, gives you an all over bronze finish. I definitely recommend a brush like this for bronzing and not contouring, just because it's a lot bigger, so it's not going to give you as defined of cheekbones if you use something like this for contouring. But for bronzer, highly recommend. And then whenever I want like a more defined contour, I really love the Sigma Small Contour F05 brush. It looks very similar to the MAC 109, except you can see it's a little bit bigger. And I love that it's slightly bigger because I feel like it allows you to like push the contour in but still buff it out so it doesn't let you get too harsh with it. I also like this one because it's synthetic, so I really enjoy this also for blending out like cream contour or cream bronzer. It's just such a good brush, and all of my Sigma brushes have lasted me so long too. Like I've had some of these since like 2013 and they're still in great condition. But yeah, I love this brush. It's also really good for blush. One of my favorite cream contour brushes is so random. I got it in like a BH Cosmetics kit, but it is this one. They still sell this kit and I loved all of the brushes that came in this kit. This one is so good for cream contouring. For one, it's synthetic, and then it has, again, the perfect amount of density but perfect amount of like give for blending to where it won't like make it too harsh. So with this, I find it just makes it so easy. I can just like stripe it across my forehead. It buffs it out super fast. When I want to cream contour with my cheek, I'm able to really like push it in my cheek and then like stamp it, and it just buffs it out so easily. I wish they sold this brush individually because it's just so good, but I think the kit altogether was like no more than like 18 bucks. So definitely recommend it. I'll leave the link to the kit down below. Dang, I have a lot of favorite cream contour brushes, but this next one that I've been really enjoying for cream contour is this Morphe M523 brush. And the reason that I love this brush a lot is because it's like the perfect shape. So it's kind of like tapered, dense, but still kind of fluffy. So it lets you get in the cheekbone really easy and like fits perfect, gives you the perfect definition. It also makes it really easy to like buff out the contour on your forehead. I also really love this brush for powder because, again, it's like the perfect density but fluffiness at the same time. And it also applies blush pretty too. I really love brushes that I can use multi-purposely for different things, so that way I'm not having to grab for a bunch of different things all the time. So this is one of those brushes. It's so good. Ooh, my favorite. I only have one favorite highlight brush. I'm so picky when it comes to highlighter brushes because so many times my highlighter can look patchy or some brushes just pack on too much. This is the one brush that I need for highlighter at all times, and it is my MAC 137 brush. You guys, this literally takes highlight, diffuses it in the skin, and makes it look like you are just lit from within. It packs on the perfect amount to where you see that glow, but it's not like a stripe or beaming like that super harsh 2017 highlight. So since the hairs are longer and taller, it's gonna diffuse the product and it's not gonna pack on too much. I also love how it comes to the perfect taper, and you can see the hairs are just so soft and it just really diffuses product nice. A brush like this is also good for blush if you're the type of person that doesn't like putting on too much blush, or if you're really heavy-handed and you find that you pack on too much product and like you just can't help yourself. A brush like this will pick up the perfect amount, diffuse it, so that way even if you are heavy-handed, it's going to like fluff out, I guess, most of the product so that you won't look like a clown. My favorite blush brush of all time, I feel like no other brush applies blush the way this one does. I do really like the Real Techniques one for blush too, but this is like my number one, and it is my, can't even read the number, MAC 168 brush. I love this brush because it's like the perfect dense, everything is a perfect density, but it's true. This is like dense, but still fluffy. And then this is the original natural hair ones. Now they make it synthetic and it is slightly different. So I'm hoping that I can find a brush that's similar that I can recommend to you guys. But I just feel like it really just diffuses the blush on the cheek. It's a perfect size for the cheek too, so it's not gonna like spread the blush too far out, but it'll buff it out just enough. What I also like about this is that since it does have the same hairs as this brush, if I'm lazy, sometimes I'll just take the tip of this brush and use that to highlight, and it still gives a really diffused finish. This also is great for like bronzing. So since it has that shape, you can use it multi-purposely for different things, which is what I love about it too, because again, I don't always like grabbing for a different brush for every little thing. I like to use brushes multi-purposely. This next brush is an absolute must, and it is my Morphe M536 brush. It's a nice taper to it. This brush is meant to be used for foundation. They're synthetic hair, so again, if you're using it with creams and stuff, it's not going to absorb product. I really like this brush for a lot of things, but the main thing that I love to use it for is to push in my bake. So whenever I apply bake under my eyes, I used to like taking like a fluffier brush like this one, and I would just like sweep it away. But recently I've been liking to press the bake into my skin, and I found that it gives your skin a way more velvet finish, and this brush is perfect for that because it's more dense than that other brush since it's meant for foundation, so it really pushes it into the skin. I like that it's tapered so it fits like right underneath of the eye. It's just such a good brush. I also like it for pressing in the bake underneath of my contour. And this brush is also great for buffing out cream contour since it's tapered. And since the hairs are synthetic, if you wanted to buff out cream contour with it, it fits perfect in the cheekbone as well. So yeah, again, this is one of those brushes that you could use so multi-purposely, and it's such an affordable brush too. So I wanted to talk about this brush really quick because I use it a lot on a day-to-day basis whenever I'm doing like a super natural look. And it is, again, one of the brushes that came in this BH Cosmetics brush set. I'm going to leave the link to the set down below. Telling you that set came with so many good brushes. What I love this brush for is days when I'm going for a super natural look. I don't want to wear foundation. I just want something easy. I'll take my cream contour. This one is like the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I'll dot it on my hand, work it in the brush, and just lightly use this brush to buff it all over. And I'll do the same with my cream blush. And I just find that this brush diffuses the product great. It's synthetic, but it's still fluffy like my bronzer brush that I like to use. But since this one's synthetic, it buffs out the cream products nice. You can see they're both super dense. This one though, I just suggest for cream products because it's synthetic. And then this one's great for powder products because it's a mix of like natural hair. So it'll diffuse powders nicer. All right, let's move on to some eye brushes. My favorite eye brush of all time is my MAC 242 brush, this guy. So this one is great for packing on shimmers, packing on just any like lid color. This is great for it. I love it also for underneath of the brow bone. What I love about this brush is the size of it and then the thinness of it. I'm telling you, there is no other brush that works the way this brush does, from the type of hair that is used, from the size of it to like the density of it. It literally just packs on color like no other. I also like how it's super skinny, the tip, because I can also pick up product with the tip of the brush and use it to highlight my inner corner or use it to lightly highlight underneath of my brow. I'm telling you, this is one of those brushes where like you don't know how you went so long without it because it's so good. And the second that you get it, there's like no other brush that compares, especially when it comes to, like I said, packing on colors. Like this is the brush for you. I also love how it has like a slight give to it too, so you can really like press it in and it's not super like stiff. It's just such a good brush. It's also good for concealing, like spot concealing. And another brush that I love is my MAC 195 brush. I like it for the same thing as my MAC 242. It packs on color really nice, but what I also really like it for is for cutting my crease. Since it's nice and tapered, if I'm like doing my eyeshadow and I want to cut my crease and I just want to like conceal my lid so that way I can go in with a shimmer, this is perfect because since it's tapered, it lets me get right in my inner corner. And then since it also has a tapered tip, I can like pick up a highlight color and use that to lightly dot in my inner corner or underneath of my eyebrow. It's just such an amazing brush. Again, this is one of those I can't be without. When it comes to blending brushes, I have a few, but when it comes to blending brushes, these are like my favorite initial brushes to use for like my crease color. They're both by Morphe. This is my Morphe, I have to try to find it because the name rubbed off, R37, and also my JH32. Pretty much all of her other blending brushes that are in her kit. These are honestly to me the same brush. Just this one you can buy individual from Morphe, and this one comes in like the Jaclyn Hill brush set. But what I love about these brushes is that they're tapered, but they're fluffy, so you can get like, it gets just in the crease better, but then since the hair is kind of like tapered downward, it also helps just like buff it up into your eyebrow and your crease seamlessly. I don't find that I get any patchiness with shadows when I use this, but like you see the difference. You see this brush versus this one. You see how this one is more tapered? It comes to like a finer point at the tip. So it just lets you get more precise with your blending, but still a fluffed out blend, if that makes sense. I'm probably making no sense. And then you can also pick up product with the tip and just lightly stamp it to like deepen up your crease if you wanted to go in with a darker color. So they're just really good for that. So these brushes I normally like for like my initial softer transition. And then whenever I want to deepen up my crease a little bit more, this Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH34 brush is amazing. I love it because it's dense but fluffy at the same time. So it lets you get a little bit lower in your crease where it's going to pack on the color more but still diffuse it so it's not too harsh. It reminds me a lot of the original MAC 217 and the Morphe M433. But the reason why I like this one better is because it's not flat like those. This one is the same shape as this brush, but it's just slightly denser. So again, it'll pack on the product better, and I just love the shape of this one better. If I ever want to go like even darker or with more color in my crease, I really like my MAC 217 S brush. And you can see it's slightly smaller than this brush, and this one is pinched. So the hairs are more flat, whereas this one has rounder hairs. So this lets me get more precise and deep in my crease. I can pack on colors on like the last third of my eye. I can also use this for the lid because I can use the flat side of the brush and just do a light dust if I wanted to. I also love this brush for blending out nose contour since it has that like flatter side. But yeah, this brush is just really good for like packing on your darkest crease color. And also if you have smaller eyes, a brush like this would be a good blending brush for you because it's not going to be too big and take over all of your lid space. Now we can get into my favorite like more precision brushes. So my favorite brush for buffing out the lower lash line is my Morphe JH38 brush. This pencil brush is like no other pencil brush that I own. I have like a BH Cosmetics one, I have other Morphe ones, I have MAC ones, but like this one is like the perfect density but fluffiness, and it's a little bit bigger than your typical pencil brush, which I love because it makes it easy to pack color on here and then buff it out so that it doesn't go on too harsh. It's like the perfect size so you're not there forever trying to blend it. This is my favorite lower lash line buffer out brush thing. It's just so good. My favorite more detailed pencil brush is my Morphe E36 brush. But what I love this brush for is for like highlighting the inner corner. I also like it if ever I want to use multiple colors in my crease. This one's a little bit smaller than the first pencil brush that I showed you. So I can take like a darker color and push it right on my lash line and then use this brush to buff it out. I also really like this for highlighting down my nose since it's so tiny. It lets me get like the perfect highlight without spreading it too far out. All right, we're on the final two. So I don't really use these kind of brushes often, but whenever I do use them or I want a more like detailed brush for either like eyeliner, or if I want to do eyeliner with my eyeshadow or my brows or any of that, these are the brushes that I love. So the first one is my MAC 212 brush. And there are a lot of other brushes shaped like this by different brands, but I'm telling you the MAC one is the best because it has a slight give to it. So you're able to, if you wanted to stamp this on your lower lash line, you can like stamp it there, wiggle it, and it'll buff it. I also really like it for the top lash line because I'm really able to get like a nice good wiggle and blend it out but still pack it on. And I also like it because it's super thin, so it's not too thick. If I want to take an eyeshadow and use it as liner, it's not gonna do like a thick chunk like some of my other brushes that are shaped like this. It's just the perfect size, and then you can buff it out if you want. It's also really good for cleaning up underneath of your eyebrow with concealer. It just makes your life so much easier. And then another detail brush that I really like is my Sigma E75. This is my favorite brush to use for eyebrows. So like if I'm ever using a powder brow product or a pomade, this is my favorite brush because it's thin. A lot of brushes like this, even if it's like barely any bit thicker than this, I feel like I don't get the definition that I like with my brows. And if it's like too long, then it doesn't pack on the right amount of product. But if it's too dense, it packs on too much. Like this brush is literally just like the perfect brush for your eyebrows. I also really like this for gel eyeliner. It's such a good size. It comes to like the perfect point. And again, this is like a brush that I've had for years and it's held up. All right, you guys, so that wraps it up for this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that I made sense because I feel like whenever I talk about things that I like, I never can get the verbiage out. Like I'm so passionate about it that I'm speechless. At least that's what it feels like. But if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I'll do my best to link everything that I mentioned down below. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, let me know. I love you all so much. I pray that you all stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!